Okay guys, how you doing? This is John with Shimp's Garage. Just wanted to make a video real quick on a accelerator rod for a 1997 8.3 liter Cummins. On my customer's vehicle, the accelerator rod, as you can see, broke, and the replacement part, which I'll show you right here, F4HT-9A805-BA, is a replacement part from Freightliner. However, the shaft on the part that goes into the transmission or adjusts the transmission, that is not long enough from Freightliner. So what I did was I ordered a couple of couplers, 2 coupling nuts, 1/4 by 28, and the necessary nuts to go along with them in order to make this part of the shaft, which connects to the transmission area, long enough to match the original. It came out to roughly 7 1/4 inches, you know, but by me having this adjustable like this, I can actually play with it in order to get it to line up. That's the only way to replace this part. As you can see, the ball joint here, which was the part that connected up towards the engine, that had already come off. So this rod had to be replaced, but you cannot get it anywhere. And the part number, which I got from Ford, that was this part number here, okay? So the only way to get it to work, like I said, is I took some threaded rod here, 1/4 inch by 28, cut it to the appropriate length, made it enough where it's adjustable, put the appropriate lock nuts behind each one of the coupler nuts, and then we'll go from there, and I'll go ahead and install it. Hey guys, this is John, again with Shimp's Garage. Just wanted to do part 2 here. So here's where my accelerator rod goes. You can see it connects over here to the throttle and back here towards the transmission. And when you tighten the accelerator rod couplers, okay, you want to start with the part closest to the original shaft back here and tighten it in order, tightening it into itself. Now, I want to share another experience that we had, another difficult problem that we had with this 8.3 liter Cummins. Now, we're fortunate because this is a Cabover, old school stuff, which is great because it gives me access to the whole engine. But this will be true in any case, even if it's not a Cabover for the 8.3. So very, very recently, we did a fuel filter change, okay? Back here, you can see we put on a new fuel filter. All right, now we primed the fuel filter, meaning we put fuel in it, because, you know, if you don't prime these fuel filters, these things are a real pain to start. We put fuel in it, started the truck up, truck ran for about 10 to 15 seconds if we're lucky, and then shut off. And then it was a struggle to try to get the fuel back up into the system. So we started at the part closest to the pump, okay, or correction, closest to the filter, and started following the fuel lines up until we got to the injector pump, and we just started cracking everything loose in order to get the air out. Now, we tried with the injectors. We broke all the injectors loose here, and then as well as up here on the valve cover. All right, when we did that, we were only able ever to get fuel out of number 5 and number 6, but struggled to get fuel out of 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, it was not until over here on the back of the injector pump, this right here, we loosened that up with a 14mm wrench, and then all kinds of air came out of the injector pump, because I tried bleeding it on the front here, barely any air came out. I was looking for a screw, a bleeder screw here, which is similar to what you'll find on a DT466. No luck there. And everything we were doing could not get the air out of it. We tried putting with a compressor, we tried priming the fuel tank and trying to force air out that way. Didn't work out. This here was covered in dirt too and was kind of hard to see. But a 14mm here broke it loose. All kinds of bubbles started to come out. Then, because the injector rod was, or the accelerator rod was broken, I had to manipulate the throttle by hand. All right. As soon as I was doing that, we started to get crank, we started to get smoke. It sounded like the thing was going to start. It took me about 2 or 3 iterations of that, just constantly playing with the throttle while my mechanic was trying to start the vehicle with the cab up in the air. Again, unique to a Cabover type situation. And after that, it fired right up. But if you ever run into a problem where you have air in the injector pump on these 8.3 liters, and you're like, man, I just can't get the air out, crack this back here, all right? Crack this line right here. Again, 14 millimeter, just back it off. You'll see all kinds of bubbles come out. Leave it cracked, crank it. Make sure you leave it cracked until you just see fuel running down here, pure fuel, no bubbles. Tighten it back up. Manipulate the throttle. You know, you can either do that by hand, in my case, if the accelerator rod's broken, or again, have one of your buddies there, press the gas pedal, and then it should start up. But I hope this video helps you guys. Literally, it took us 3 hours of constantly trying to figure out, because we could not figure out why we were not getting fuel out of all 6 injectors. But this back here is what held us up. So I'll try to make some more of these videos for these older type diesels, because we tend to get a lot of work on these older type diesels, and I'll post them to try to help people out, especially when it comes to bleeding the system after changing the fuel filter. That seems to be a common problem, even after you prime the fuel, even with the fuel filter primed. Try to say that 3 times fast. But I just don't want anybody to have to go through what we went through. All right, guys, best of luck, and I'll see you soon.